Hi, this is another simplified self-learning module for quarter 4, week 3. This is all about biomolecules. In this particular activity, you just have to choose the correct word below and fill into its correct place. You have the fatty acid, lean meat, lipids, monosaccharide, protein, nucleic acid, nucleotide, and starch. There are 4 essential biomolecules, and one is being named here, which is the carbohydrates. The other 3 is not. So all you have to do is to choose from the word written above in order for you to fill in this correct space. Now, the carbohydrates, for example, there is an example actually in that particular words above. So choose the correct one and put it in this space provided for the example of carbohydrates. Then the monomer. The monomer is called a building block. So what is the building block of carbohydrate? Choose one, then write in that particular space provided for monomer. So do the same with the second biomolecules, then third and fourth. In the analysis, there are 4 questions posted here. So you just have to answer this in the space provided, or if you need extra sheet, so you can just add. Now, number 1, what is the so-called pasta loading? How will it affect a marathon runner? In short, how will it affect a certain athlete? Write your answer. Number 2, why lipids considered as a great source of a long-term energy? So we know that carbohydrates is a source of energy, but lipid is considered as great source of long-term energy. How does it differ with that particular energy given by carbohydrates? Number 3, how do proteins responsible for muscle development? So we know that muscle is made up of proteins, okay? But in this case, for example, how does a bodybuilder develop his muscle compared to a non-bodybuilder? Number 4, differentiate briefly between DNA and RNA. So in this case, if you differentiate DNA and RNA, you have to consider several factors like sugar, like the strand, as well as base pairing, etc. Now in the abstraction, you have here carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acid. This is just a simple description of the 4 essential biomolecules. Monomer is mentioned here. Some functions, basic formula, as well as some examples also is being mentioned. So you have to read and understand carefully because this will also answer the application here. Now, in this application, you just have to complete the table by writing some basic information on each biomolecules. You may use extra sheet of paper if necessary. Now, we have here the biomolecules, carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. In the first category, we have examples. So give an example of a carbohydrate. So at least one example or 2. At least one example is enough, but if you can give more than one examples, it's okay. Now the monomer, I believe it is mentioned in the abstraction, so you just have to write the monomer for carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins, as well as nucleic acid. The basic formula and key features. What are the basic formula for these biomolecules? Now, these 4 biomolecules share the same elements or the same formula, basically on the presence of some elements like carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So they are the same. However, there are some variations that makes them different from each other. Structure. So give at least an example of a structure of carbohydrate, lipid, protein, and nucleic acid. It is better if your structure is the structure of the given example above. However, you can still do it in different way. If you wish to have another structure of a carbohydrate, then it's okay. And functions, You can write as many as you can. In the abstraction, there are functions of this particular biomolecules. And if you wish to add some, you can do it also. You can search, or if there are things that you know that is not written in the abstraction, you can still add it. Next, the long quiz for this particular SSLM. So all of these questions are actually taken from the abstractions and the entire SSLM. If there are questions that are not so clear to you, so you go back to the abstraction and read it carefully and understand the entire concept. There are 15, and yes, it's just quite simple. Please do not guess the answer. You always have to go back on the abstraction if you are not so sure with your chosen answer. In the performance task, there are 3 questions posted here. You need to answer. In answering that question, you need to align your answers in this particular rubric so that you can get the highest possible score. Number 1, how significant are carbohydrates in our diet? So, do you think it is significant? Or if not, you justify your answer. Number 2, what are the roles of lipids in maintaining a healthy body? Is there a role? What do you think? Number 3, why do proteins and nucleic acids play an important role in the continuity of life? This question is quite broad, so you may read more about nucleic acids and proteins and their role in the continuity of life for you to answer this question satisfactorily. So good luck and God bless. If you like this kind of video, please don't forget to subscribe.